Hi guys, and welcome to Seriology, a weekly conversation amongst friends regarding what's currently on the small and sometimes big screen and what might have trended in the past, with me, Lady Alexa, a self-proclaimed TV addict, dreamer, and sucker for romantic shows, and my charismatic, yet sarcastic, co-host Rich the Hot Broccoli, also a TV addict, cat lover, and monster sculptor. Hello, SeriLovers, and welcome back to another week of Seriology.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. The time is right now. It's 2020, and I'm sitting in front of my friends, recording a podcast.
Okay, that was weird.
It wasn't weird based on the show that we're reviewing today.
But also, I am very happy to announce that Felo is back.
What?
Hey, Felo.
Are we
Back
doing
for,
Felo's Corner today?
More nonsensical commentary, except I actually know what the fuck I'm talking with this week, guys.
It's about time.
Yeah.
I really struggled with that Friends episode.
Yeah, for real. That
Are we
Friends
doing a
episode was
Felo's
all
Corner?
over the place.
All right, everybody. We're dabbling into another anti-hero show, one of my personal favorites.
Yes, I mean, I had no idea the show existed until the movie came out back in 2009.
There
We don't
was
talk
a
about the
comic
movie.
book.
Yeah,
there
I
wasn't a
know.
show.
There was a comic book. I just
there's-
didn't know this comic book existed until the movie came out in 2009.
You're doing a
And-
Witcher timeline right now.
Oh my god, shut up. And SeriLovers, if you haven't guessed it, we're talking Watchmen.
Woo! Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
What'd you
Yeah.
guys think?
Audio levels.
First off, did both of you watch the movie?
Yes.
In both like the regular and the extended edition?
Yes.
There was a
I
regular
own the
and extended
Blu-ray.
edition.
The full Zack Snyder cut, release the Snyder cut, etc., etc. By the way, do not release the Snyder cut. I'm not particularly a fan of Justice League. That's another episode.
Okay, yep.
Oh boy.
Okay, Watchmen's based on a 1987 comic book by Alan Moore and David Gibbons. And then in 2009 got adapted to movie, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Honestly, it was one of the first comic book movies that I really loved.
It was.
I
it
would
touched-
say that it's probably Zack Snyder's last good movie.
Yeah, I would agree.
and I think I think it completely misses the mark for The Watchmen, but I think it was an awesome movie nonetheless. Like, it kind
touched
of read the
so
source
many
material
things.
and said, "Fuck it, this ain't cool enough."
But, well, we all fell in love with the movie back in 2009, and now 10 years after Zack Snyder's movie, we get to see how some of the characters we obsessed with are 34 years afterwards in this alternate reality where white supremacists in Oklahoma have been terrorizing the state to the point cops now wear masks to cover their identities, and for some weird reason, squids fall from the sky and the people treat it as if it was just a regular rain. New characters are
scripted.
introduced with Regina King leading the ensemble as Angela Abra, aka Sister Knight, Jeremy Irons as the enemy Ozymandias. Is he really an enemy? And
I don't
Jane
know.
Smart as Laurie Blake, now an FBI agent. However, the big question we all had is where the hell is Dr. Manhattan? Who later appears with Yahya Abdul Mateen II delivering the biggest curveball we never saw coming. Politics and racism are two of the biggest subject touched in this 9-episode run, delivering some of the best dialogues we've seen this last decade in TV. Watchmen received widespread critical acclaim with Rotten Tomatoes giving it a 96% certified fresh, with an average rate of 8.53 out of 10. So without further ado, let's begin discussing HBO's critically acclaimed show Watchmen.
Wow,
Wow,
you
Anna.
just sounded like public broadcasting news right there.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
crazy how you just came up with that off the top of your head. I mean,
Right?
it was so polished. It's almost like it was scripted.
And you're listening to Easy Commentary with Lady Alexa.
Thank you. Thank you.
Like, that was a total NPR news reading right there.
On this episode of Fresh Air with LA, discuss.
Hey, I wrote that shit. So if it's badly written, I don't care. I wanted to read it.
No,
But
very good, very good, very good.
back to this, I mean, we were talking about the movie, and it was hard for me because to put together the character, especially Laurie Blake, because in the movie she was blonde, and now here she's
She was blonde?
brunette.
thought she was. Wasn't she Jupiter?
Yeah.
Lori Jupiter in the.
Yeah.
She had the dark hair, brunette.
Was she? Or maybe it's
Yeah.
because the
Yeah.
actress. It's the actress. The actress's natural hair is blonde. Okay, forget about it. I'm dumb.
All right, where's your
Next.
point? Next
Next.
point.
Off to a phenomenal start here.
All right, the biggest thing that I felt was with this show how it mirrored what's going on with racist America right now. Give me your thoughts. Silences.
I think it's extremely topical in that respect. I feel like so. This is going to be my hot take for the episode. I'm just going to get it out of the way early on.
Fella's
I
Corner.
absolutely love the show. I thought it was an awesome show. I wish it was a standalone thing that was not part of the Watchmen universe. I wish it was just original IP. Like, all you have to change is character names and a little bit of the surrounding culture, and you could make a legitimately good freestanding IP from this. Because it's excellent social commentary. It just... I don't know why it had to be part of Alan Moore's universe, especially considering that Alan Moore kind of is notorious for, A, being batshit crazy, but B, like, really hating having his work be adapted.
I mean,
but
I think that
don't you
also,
think that...
because I read, and I'm sorry that I'm interrupting, I read a lot of fans, and I was telling Rich of some of the things that I read, that fans were not happy that Rorschach's, is that how you pronounce it? I keep
Rorschach, the Rorschach test.
Okay, so
test?
Rorschach's mask was used for the white supremacists. Fans were not happy about it. But then Lindelof came out saying that, hey, the reason why, you need to remember that he was killed 30 years ago. So they are he's not there to say, yeah, hey, you're misunderstanding my point of view on my diary, but still. And that is something that people do. I mean, how many politicians haven't used the words of other people to their own agenda?
Yes, all the time. And Felo, back to your point, don't you think that the Dr. Manhattan character was part of making what this story great, though? In that,
yeah, but okay. So here's the thing: is why does it have to be Dr. Manhattan, right? Like, it could just be, if you're setting up an independent, like an independent IP, right, intellectual property on this, you could just, hey, give him an origin story, make it the exact same thing, because essentially, like, Dr. Manhattan's a character trope, right? It's a god. It's a demigod. He exists in all time.
But it's also a known character.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We also all know his backstory.
No, but see, do they, though?
I would think so.
I don't know, man.
Most people that were watching the show already had a
not
take
necessarily.
on the Watchmen.
Not necessarily.
I feel like, yeah. Go ahead, Heather.
No, go ahead.
No, like, I think that part of it is, yeah, there is, like, the reason why I understand perfectly why they made this story be part of the Watchmen universe, because, like anything, you want it to be attached to existing IP, because then you bring in, stuff from outside. It's the same reason Rogue One got made, instead of being like a new space opera about spies and this new secret death weapon. It has all of the stuff that's associated with Star Wars, right? Kind of the same thing with Watchmen. It brings in a lot of a core fan base, but I feel like at the same time you could there is a pretty easy way to adapt this to be fresh new IP without it having been in the Watchmen universe. I would say more than Dr. Manhattan. I think one of the things that does kind of lend from the Watchmen IP is Hooded Justice. The Hooded Justice storyline, I think, is substantially the biggest reason why I would have to keep this in the Watchmen universe. Because I think that's
probably
yeah
another reason. Outside of Dr. Manhattan was that the Hooded
By the
Justice
way,
story.
was Hooded Justice always gay?
It was the black and white story.
Yeah.
What's his name's character? The wheelchair guy.
Yeah, like
No. I'm just asking. Was he always gay on the comic, on the graphic novel?
They made that whole story up.
Yeah.
In
the comic, he's.
I'm like, wait, Captain Metropolis is Metropolis now gay? What the hell is going on in here? And they're making soft porn out of it.
So both of those characters exist in the comic, but they're completely like they're basically throwaway bits. Like they're because the comic is crazy. It's got like. A, it's got a comic within a comic that tells the story of the Black Freighter. Mm-hmm. B, it has like all these independent snippets of what's his name? Night Owl's predecessor, the first Night Owl, like basically from his book.
I find it hilarious that it's like Night Owl 1, Night Owl 2.
Yeah. There's essentially a book, a comic within the comic, and then the comic, and that's like what the original graphic novel is.
You got all that?
Yeah.
Anna, your face looks so confused right now.
All of this to say,
I'm gonna be honest. I love the movie. I love the TV show, but I've always been confused with the movie, and now I'm confused with the TV show.
All right.
It's great dialogues. I feel like it touches so many things. I think it was the best show that came out of 2019. Shush, both of you. But again, it confuses the shit out of me.
BoJack Horseman,
and I like that. And I like that. But I mean, the politics part is insane as well.
Yeah, that's. I thought it was the most true to what's going on in America.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement.
Series of 2019.
I think it's just separated enough where you can see this being an alternate universe, but it's like one of those like, the event that made this timeline diverge cannot be that different.
Yeah. Yep.
And now,
speaking of politics, I absolutely love the fact that they took in the comic they mentioned President Redford like very vaguely in the background one time, and they just took that and freaking ran with it.
oh my God, Redford!
I thought it was great.
Everybody mentioned Redford in every single episode, like around five times. Ozymandias doing the freaking little video like, "Hey, I was the one who made you."
But you know who Robert Redford is, right? In real life,
yeah.
Anna?
I'm not going to answer. I'm going to shut up and look at my computer here because you guys now are looking at me weird. I am going to shut up and
She's just
here
typing in frantically into Wikipedia.
and to Google who the hell. Redford? Yes, I'm going to.
Like I felt like Adrian was Putin for getting Redford elected. That's what it kind of felt like. It was put his hand in motion.
I think. Sorry, not to deviate from the politics here, but I think that is Jeremy Irons, hands down, the highlight of the show for me. His character, like the way he was playing it, was just absolutely perfect.
Okay, was I the only one who was confused at the beginning when he's like fishing babies
confused.
And killing people, but then 3 of the same person appears?
Yeah, I was totally confused until that panned out.
Yeah, no, when after it's explained, I'm like, what the effing hell is going on in here? He's fishing for babies? Where the hell is this man?
And then did he just catapult somebody onto the moon?
Yes.
I absolutely love that. I think that's legitimately my favorite part of the show is Ozzy's imprisonment on the moon.
But he chose that. It wasn't really imprisonment. He wanted to be there and then just looked at it that way.
And put yourself into the timeline of Dr. Manhattan, right? Like you send him there, but you know he's coming back. You know, everything is a fait accompli with him, which is part of the appeal of the character. But like, I think it is imprisonment. It's just unwitting imprisonment, right? You get what you want, and then you're like, "Fuck, this sucks."
The thing is that even Manhattan said it.
Yeah,
Manhattan said it. I wanted this, paradise, and once I was there, I realized that I was missing so many things. Oh, I want that. Poof, you're gone. Mm-hmm. And then I need a villain. I need an adversary. And I need this. And now I hate this. And I know my daughter is gonna send a thing. Oh, Jesus Christ.
I did like the true storyline, her and her mother-daughter.
Yeah,
I thought that was really clever.
I thought it was. I'm completely in agreement. I thought that a little bit of the like her knowing the password and that type of stuff to getting into the sperm case and all that. So spoilers, the sperm case exists there. The password is the Gordian knot. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I thought it was like a little bit of plot armor to it, but at the same time, like I really enjoyed what they were trying to do with it, and like I called it from episode like 1. I was like, or episode 2, like the first episode you see Lady True, I'm like, oh shit, she's gonna be Vight's daughter for sure.
Really?
For fucking sure. Yeah. Because like the context being that she is the smartest person in the world, and that's Vight's whole fucking deal, is that he's the smartest person in the world. Like that's one of the things that I didn't like about the Zack Snyder timeline, is they were all kind of super powered. Like they could fucking Veidt does the bullet catch, which does happen in the comic, but like, you know, they're all supposed to be normal human beings with the exception of Dr. Manhattan. And like the thing that Veight's superpower is, right, is he's like the Batman archetype, where it's your wits and your money and like your training, right? The what's the literary term for it? The competent man, right? Like it's the person that through their own skill set got that good. Sorry, this is like a whole thing for me.
Silence. What is going on?
Well, I don't know. This is not like us.
Yeah, I was about to say, guys. Like, listen, man. I know that it's not me calling Lady True as his daughter was not that impressive. Like, it's not a like, holy shit. We've all seen the show, right?
I did not. But here's the thing, and that's what I love of the two of you being here is. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. It's just that I haven't read the graphic novel and I didn't remember that well the movie. So for me, it was really hard to start to remember the characters. I haven't seen the movie in forever.
But if you think about it, there's only three characters that went from the movie to the show.
Yeah.
Manhattan, Veidt, and Laurie.
Yeah.
Which is yet another point in my case that this would be awesome independent IP, because the new characters that they added in, I loved. I thought Sister Knight, Mirror Guy, as I
Looking Glass.
To call him. Yeah,
Looking Glass.
He's Mirror Guy, guys.
Mirror Guy, my name is Looking Glass.
That was cool.
Yeah, Pirate Jenny's a cool reference to the Black Freighter. Like, I thought all the characters that they added in were
Regina, I have to say it,
underused.
Regina King did a kick-ass job. She nailed it.
Yeah.
And honestly, because here's also the thing. I saw my dad watching the TV show, so I knew who Dr. Manhattan was when I actually saw the show. And once you know it's him, when he sees Laurie for the first time in the cemetery, he's like, haven't I met you before? I think I've known you. And all those references, and I read that the actor didn't know he was Dr. Manhattan up until the point that the episode happened. However, Regina, they hadn't told Regina King, who plays Sister Knight, that he was Dr. Manhattan, but apparently she started asking a lot of questions because shit was weird. And they were like, okay, we need to tell her. So that's why, and I didn't notice that. After I read it, I was like, oh, that makes sense. How she treated Laurie Blake from the beginning was, confrontational, territorial, very jealousy. I'm better than you and you don't, you're not as that bad, like whatever. And now it makes sense because she knows that is her husband's ex-girlfriend.
Yeah, and legitimately that like when I first time I saw the episode, I was pissed that I was like, God damn it, HBO fumbling at the 1 yard line like they did with Game of Thrones. Like, man, this sucks. And then I started to think back on all the hints and teasers that they dropped and that stuff, and at no point do they ever tell you that she wouldn't be aware that he's Dr. Manhattan or anything like that. And then you start thinking about their relationship, I don't know. I think they did a really, really good job of hiding that curveball until the very end. So I was pissed at first, and then after the second rewatch, I was like, "Fuck, this actually makes a lot of sense. This is pretty good."
They really did weave a good story with that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna agree with William Reeves when he says, "For everything he was, he didn't do that much." I was so pissed with him because I'm like, "You are fucking Dr. Manhattan, Dr. fucking Manhattan. You are a god. You could have done whatever the hell you wanted to stay alive."
But his ideology is staying out of human affairs.
Yeah.
Oh my God. But, dude, they are coming for you and your family.
Well,
you had the chance to destroy them before they even before
That's
she
not
even
his deal.
like
Not his deal.
It's not his deal, and it's not. He can't intervene. Like this, you said they're coming for you. No, they are coming for you, and they already came for you, and you've already died, and you've already had like all of this has happened in his world. Like the way he experiences time, I think is so much of what makes that character so special.
The moment when Regina King, Angela realizes that everything happened because of her, telling Dr.
That was
Manhattan.
really, that hit me too. I really liked that moment.
Her face was like, fuck, I am the one who made all of this happen. It's my fault.
It was like a 10-year phone call.
Yeah.
Just like time travel phone call.
Yeah.
That moment really hit me too. I thought
But
that was
that
really
is my
clever.
that is my anger with him, because in that moment, instead of making eggs and pancakes, you could have just gone over there and kill everybody and just come back and be with your family. You did not need to put all of your powers in the egg and start doing pancakes and drive your wife insane, because I would have been just like her. I would have been, are you fucking kidding me? Stop making pancakes and let's go and kill some people.
Still missing the point, LA.
I don't care. I don't care.
It's not even that it's not his character. It's that it already happened, and he didn't do it, and he can't change that because it happened, it is happening, and it will happen.
I don't give a damn. I mean, come on.
So mad.
I'm just gonna, like, where's Alan Moore's address? I'm gonna go punch him in the face.
Yes! Yeah. I mean, I love it, but at the same time, I hate it. I'm like, why can't you do a freaking thing? Stop being a drama king.
But they set that scene up a little bit when they had the fight scene, if you think about it.
What fight scene? There were too many fight scenes.
No, like not the fight, the argument fight scene.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
We're having a fight, and it just kept building to that.
We're gonna have a fight in 5
had the
minutes.
fight.
Oh, no, we're not gonna have a fight. Yes, we're gonna have a fight.
What they were trying to do was get you prepared for that canon scene. That regardless of what you say, it's all destined to happen anyways.
I hate that. No, I think that the future, you can always change the future. The future, it's never cemented. Your actions in the present, might change the future that is already there. The future is never cemented. That is my point of view.
This is Anna, like, perceiving the character of Dr. Manhattan just whoosh noises.
I'm just, I feel like lately I've been watching a lot of DC shit, and now I'm realizing that almost every single DC thing, they always have an interdimensional pocket, a time.
Yeah, this isn't an interdimensional pocket show. Like, okay, think of the Time Machine, the movie, book, whatever. Mm-hmm. Did anybody remember that movie?
Yeah.
At least the redo, where everything he tried to do to save the girl that he loved, she still died. No matter how much he tried to change the present, even though he knew what was going to happen, and he would keep going back, she still died a different way.
Well, which is something that I also really like about the show is, I like two things. I like that, one, they're not going to make a season 2. That they're just leaving it as is. They told a self-encompassed story. Yeah, there's a lot of loose threads. Sometimes it's fine to have a loose thread. And B, they set it up at the very end with the egg thing where it's like, well, is this done?
The door is always open.
Exactly.
The door is not closed, which is what he wanted.
Which is, again, completely antithetical to, like, the spirit of Alan Moore's work. But at the same time, I'm like, listen, man, I like a good story. Like, I like a fairy story, right? Like, I like a story that, hey, this isn't a fait accompli. This is, stuff can change, right? I think that's part of the appeal of TV is being escapist and trying to get away from the shit that is reality. But that's very much not Alan Moore's deal. Alan Moore's deal is the world sucks, everything sucks, this is bad, and etc. Right? Like,
Let me drop a giant squid on New York.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's talk about the freaking squid. The first time that you see the rain, the squids falling from the sky. I mean, what the actual fuck?
But it is Watchmen, and I knew that there was a reason for it. Eventually,
and then you have because you have that first rain, and then it doesn't rain up until Looking Glass's episode, where you understand that he's a paranoid guy.
Dude, it's such a good episode.
That all the shit that happened, that the reason why he chose that mask, and then you see how he has a freaking cabin and he's crazy because he doesn't want to die. And then you see this big squid that killed 3 million people and aliens. There are aliens. Are you kidding me?
Well, and I think that, so I don't know what the timeline was for your guys experiencing The Watchmen as like a media franchise, but the first exposure that I ever had to The Watchmen was Zack Snyder's movie. And obviously in the movie, they changed the squid because Zack Snyder's a fucking edgelord, and it's goofy to have a squid kill people at the end. Like, legitimately, it's a goofy ending, right?
Especially when there wasn't anything really goofy in the movie.
Yeah, exactly. The movie just plays it way too straight. Like, the Rorschach murder, like... It's a movie that takes itself very seriously, but like that's what I went into reading the original Watchmen series and then reading the before Watchmen series that DC put out afterwards. Like, I was blown away back then by the squid thing. So like to see it open with the squid rain and that type of stuff, because the squid rain doesn't happen in the show, but I thought, oh, okay, cool, because I also went into the show with very little prep. I hadn't read anything about the pre-production. I thought it was going off of the Zack Snyder timeline.
I thought so too.
Yeah,
this was surprising. When
I thought so too.
As I was getting into it, I'm like, oh, this isn't more story on those characters. This is a completely different path. And then they're like saying how it's 30-something years in the future.
I found it very interesting because before I get to it, I saw all the commercials and all the posters had Regina King's character in it. And I'm like, I don't remember that character in the movie. Like, how are you adding this? And then I see the first episode and I'm like, where the hell? The only thing that you hear is Dr. Manhattan. So is that the only thing being along with the movie? Because even Oklahoma, the movie's not even in Oklahoma. So then you have the second episode where they add the character of Laurie Jupiter, and it's like, oh, okay, 30 years, okay.
Yeah, I thought that I really like seeing that. Like, if you are going to approach an existing piece of IP, at least, try and make it your own and expand on the, like, because even though Lord Jupiter's in it and that type of stuff, like, realistically speaking, they could have really suffered from, like, prequelitis or sequelitis, where they're like, oh, we got to include Night Owl, we got to include Rorschach, and we got to include... They're not. They're like, okay, how does the rest of the world perceive all these things that happened, right? And I think that was really enjoyable to me.
The fact that now the cops used Night Owl's specs for his little machine, for his the
airplane, hover.
The owl.
Yeah.
That they use his specs as the cops' planes.
Which was another thing that they use at the end to possibly keep the story open, is when
Archie?
When they got Archie at the end.
Yeah.
I love it that when they're first doing when the cops are trying to hit the 7th Cavalry in the first episode, my dad is like, oh my god, that's Night Owl, they are Night Owl. And I'm like...
And it's just Don Johnson.
Yes! I'm like, I don't think so. There's something weird in it.
I think a ton of this show really gets, like watching the show is like an ice cream sundae, right? Like, there's layers and it's flavor and like all this type of stuff. But then you hop online. I don't know if you guys have read the PDpedia that HBO put up online, but like, this show is so much deeper than anything that it actually shows. Like, reading through the PDpedia articles, there's so many subtle nods and references to it. And I think we can all agree that PD is Lube Man, right?
I have no idea what a PDpedia is.
Oh, guys.
So let's start there.
Okay.
Yeah, let's begin there.
You guys remember the character PD? Yes? Laurie's a guy from the FBI that
yes.
goes
Oh,
with her
yes.
So
the one that she has sex with.
Does she?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
When the blue dildo was not enough, she went and she had sex with him.
Yeah, so he has a whole thing online, which was just his notes on, like, the on the case as they're working it and all this type of stuff. And it kept every episode that they released, they would release a new entry to the PDpedia. So there's like...
that's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah. Guys, really go check it out, because it's got a ton of really cool stuff happening in it. Like, like they talk about him finding out about Mirror Guy's whole deal, whole shtick, like, and there's a whole bunch of like theories circling around that, which again will never be answered. Which is again, I'm fine with that. So like one of the huge theories is that you guys know Lube Man.
Who?
Lube Man, Lube Guy, the dude that that was dressed in the full silver.
Oh yeah, and then slid into the grave.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened with that guy? He just
that
disappeared.
That was very clearly to me a character like that's Petey for fucking sure. That's Petey because like he's got the body frame for it.
Yeah,
B, like Petey's whole shtick is that he like admires heroes and wants to be one of them, and like is super into the mass vigilante thing. And then it's never resolved, and I'm pretty sure they were trying to set it up for like a season 2 where it's like, okay, who the fuck is Lube Man?
No,
I totally forgot it. Like, it
I
happened
love that.
so fast.
Yeah, I love that you're bringing that up because at first it was disgusting. Let's be honest. And second, that happens and you never see him again.
Yeah, then they also don't do that like with other characters that might be.
Yeah.
Which it seems like they should have set that up with Lube Guy and then randomly see other odd characters throughout the series doing odd things.
I mean, the guy just brings lube out of his pockets and starts throwing it on him, and
like it was so
ew!
What Angela says was what the whole audience watching says, like, what the fuck was that? The second that happened.
And that's what I love of her character, because her character was us in a way. Because all these things are happening, and all she keeps saying is, what the actual fuck is going on? Like, everything was super quiet, everything was perfect. You know, dandy, just a couple of squids coming from the sky from time to time, but, you know, all is good.
I do like when a story rewrites history just a little bit, where it's kind of odd, but it still fits and it still feels real, like the way Watchmen did. Like the Redford thing, and like they're still using like 1920s-ish looking equipment.
Yeah, and they have like all the cars are from like the 1980s, but they're retrofitted with electric power.
Yes.
And I think that's really one of the things that's a real standout to me of the show is the small world building things that they do. Like there's a lot of little details, like the Top Knot gang, and like the whole. That's one of the things that I really loved about Looking Glass's episode is it really builds on like all the stuff that's around this world, like the idea of a support group for people that have PTSD about squids and like that type of paranoia. Like if you think about it, it's kind of silly because again, it's interdimensional psychic squid, but it's also like, well, shit, man, if an interdimensional psychic squid did blow up New York, then probably I would also be in a support group for that. And it's like,
I mean, especially if you were in the vicinity of what happened. They
even showed support people, like people in the group that needed to like just be part of something.
Yeah.
Like my mom was there, but I wasn't born yet.
Yeah, the psychic.
No.
And
can we talk about the advertising trying to bring people back to the city of New York? No, I'm not afraid of squids. Now I eat them.
Yeah, that's so good.
Oh my god!
Like I could just see a real PR department working on that ad.
And I love that Looking Glass just got pissed out of it, and he's like, that is not how people are gonna see it. People suffer from it. That episode, I was so angry with him at the end because he got played so bad.
So why were you angry at him for it?
Because I'm like, you're supposed to be this like smart guy, and for somebody who's so good at reading other people, why couldn't you read this chick that played you? Why couldn't you read that it was all bullshit?
Well, I think that's part of the commentary that I think I think that's one of the things that they get really right in kind of the same tone as Alan Moore's work is, listen, man, everybody has blind spots, and like to think otherwise is fucking bullshit. Like the fact that she was approaching him from his point of weakness, that it was the Squid support group, that she had researched him, like, I thought that was phenomenal. Like, I thought that was so well done that, like,
I like how you used the blind spot reference for that.
Yeah.
That's exactly where she was. Yeah. Was this in his blind spot or his safety net?
Exactly. Yeah. Like, it's I think
something that none of his friends knew. The only person who actually caught it was Laurie Blake.
Yeah.
When she tells him like, "Oh, so you use that mask because you're scared, right? Shut up."
I thought, outside of Jeremy Irons' character,
she was good.
I thought her delivery on pretty much every line she said was pretty incredible. Like, even to the, "What are you doing here?" "Well, just getting kidnapped," or whatever. Like, she just had no bullshit. Like, just someone completely jaded and full of confidence because of that.
Yeah.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the movie, she was not that way. She was a little bit more naive. She was nicer. I mean, it was a shock to her to find out that she was the daughter of a rape, but she was nicer. She was not that jaded.
This Laurie is much more similar to the Laurie of the comic books, for sure.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like in that was definitely one of the things in the Zack Snyder movie that I think a lot of people took issue with, is like, even though it's a beat for beat recreation of the comic book, right, of the graphic novel, like, a lot of her dialogue kind of gets cut or left on the floor or softened, like, for whatever reason. But really, like, this Laurie is so much closer to what I envisioned her as coming off the comic book. And I think
she was amazing.
I think it's really a testament to again, this show's casting, and, like, it's just such a well-produced show. It's really
incredible.
Par for the course for HBO, because, like, with like the Gene Smart and God, what's Mirror guy's name? I fucking forget his name. He was
in real life.
Yeah, the actor's name. Tim Blake Nelson. Like, Tim Blake Nelson is such a good character player, and even in something like this where really he's pretty minor to the show, because he disappears for a good 2 episodes.
Which who?
Tim Blake Nelson, Mirror guy, Looking Glass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Looking
Yeah.
Glass.
Yeah. No. After you, in a way, I thought he was dead.
Yeah.
I thought, the 7 cavalry kill him, and then they put the video where they went to his house and all the 7 cavalry people are dead. I'm like, oh, nice. There you go.
I honestly thought Petey was going to be the one that rescued him, not him rescuing himself, like, making it out.
I love that you're obsessed with a Petey cat.
Petey's awesome, man.
Because he was such a tiny character.
Yes,
and now that he might be Lube Guy, why would I not be obsessed with him now?
Legitimately, like, it's hard not to be obsessed with him if you go through the Peteypedia.
Oh my lord.
But Tim Blake Nelson, he makes memorable roles in pretty much everything he's in. Even if it's a tiny role, like in Minority Report, he still makes it memorable. Yeah. His own.
Look, and I'm sorry, this is not Looking Glass, Mirror Guy, but going back to Laurie's character and Angela's character, the interaction between the two of them, when they're in the cemetery, that she takes Petey's coffee and she's like, have you drank from it? No. Okay, thank you. And she just leaves him behind and goes and gives the coffee to Angela because she knew Angela was going to appear somewhere. And she's, like, telling her, swearing that this girl is going to be scared out of her mind. And she's like, ooh, should I be scared? No.
Dude, and when like, they I can't believe they did like a Disney's The Incredibles bit. Like, they straight up, they're just like, don't monologue. Why? Don't monologue.
Yeah. Are you going to tell me your plan now?
Yeah. and just, like, the delivery is so cut and dry. It was, like, absolutely perfect.
No, she was, that character was incredible. And her talking to the freaking, do you want to talk with Dr. Manhattan? This is your straight line to Mars. And he was not even in Mars, he was in Europa.
What do you feel she was trying to get by telling him jokes? I was struggling with
making him feel bad and say that he was an asshole for leaving everyone behind.
Do you feel she knew that he doesn't get those messages anyways?
Oh, she knew for sure. It was the only way that she felt, that's how I took it, the only way that she felt close to him, even though she knew he was not going to get those messages. That was the closest she was going to get to talking with him. That's why she was a silver member of the Dr. Manhattan phone booth.
Like that, I like how that little bit of being on the phone weaved through that episode because it gave it such a different feel.
Yes.
But I that's a good point where you're saying, because I wasn't sure what they were getting at with that phone call.
Because look,
that makes sense.
That's how I see it. Because even when she goes to the room and she opens the suitcase and it's a picture of her with Dr. Manhattan and the blue dildo, she still loves him. And it was the closest way she could be to him.
How do you think she felt when she got to the globe of phone calls at True's company?
Who? Angela?
Yeah. No. Wasn't it Lori that went to?
No, that's Angela.
Never mind.
Yeah.
That's when
Question blown.
That's when Lady True comes and she's like, "Oh, I get all these phone calls and stop with the BS. I know your husband is Dr. Manhattan." And she's like, "What? No. Peace. I need to go and talk with somebody.
Yeah.
Not my husband.
Do something completely unrelated to this.
Yes. I am not going to go and talk to my husband because he's not Dr. Manhattan." Baby, we're in big trouble. Oh, Lord.
Do you find it was a little too easy that Adrian already had that device made?
Yes and no.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it moved the story along, and like we didn't have to sit and watch some montage of him building and mistake rings and testing.
That's exactly, like, I just took it for granted as like, okay, fine, this is plot armor that I'm okay with the show having, kind of in the same way as Lady True's mother, knowing the Gordian knot password, that type of stuff. It's just like, okay, for the purpose of them telling the story that they want, I'm not going to think too hard about it.
Yeah.
I love how everybody wants to be Dr. Manhattan, and Dr. Manhattan is the only one who doesn't want to be him.
I do like that they celebrate that day.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan Day?
Yeah, I thought that was, it was adding to the history of the story that they had this after Vietnam Victory Day that happens every year.
Yeah. And the fact that Vietnam is the 51st state, I thought was, again, it's just one of those things where it's like...
Little things.
Yeah, like the small things that build the world really, really, really well.
Oh my God. I felt so bad for Angela when her grandmother, when she finally finds somebody and she's about to be taken to Oklahoma and the grandmother dies. Kill me now. I was like, poor girl. Oh my God, so many bad things are happening to her.
Where did we see that little girl actress from? I feel like she was in something recent.
It's something else. I don't know who.
I know the grandmother used to be in True Blood. I know that. I know her, but the actress, the little actress, no idea.
I'm googling.
Yeah, because I feel like I've seen her
Google,
just
fella,
recently
Google.
in something.
No, but I think one of the things that really caught my eye about the whole VVD day and like the kind of the episode, God walks into a bar, like that whole episode does a really good job of showing like the obsession with Dr. Manhattan, down to the point where like there's that huge dude that's completely painted blue that he walks next to, and like, God,
think of football fans or anybody who loves Disney. It's like the same kind of thing.
Like the obsession with Dr. Manhattan becoming a personality. Like, you don't get to just be like, you don't get to pick that as a personality.
Okay, so this is gonna sound a little racist, and it's not. It's just that a lot of people
don't preface it with that.
Yeah, whoo! A lot of people were. I've heard a lot of people say that they were
run for the show. I'm sorry to see it end.
Shut up! A lot of people were thrown with the fact that Dr. Manhattan is black. Oh my god! I mean,
Like, that's still a thing. How is that even a thing?
But yeah, that's so dumb.
But we don't know that.
First and
because
foremost,
they hide his face.
And first and foremost, it makes total sense because she opens all of these bodies, and there was just one dark one, and it's it makes sense. It goes better with her, and not gonna lie, of all the bodies she pulled out, he was the best good looking one.
And like,
the other one were some weird old dudes.
It's so fucking dumb too, and it's the same kind of misunderstanding of the source material where it's like, oh no, it's Dr. Manhattan's a German white guy. Yes, he's a German white guy that can change his appearance to be whatever the fuck he wants it to be. Why wouldn't he change it to something that Angela picked? Like,
exactly, she picked it, and
sense.
Again, I would have chosen the same one if the options I had were the ones she pulled out.
It's the same fucking people that get pissed off about Rorschach being being used as a hate symbol and stuff like. Yeah, because no one's actions have ever been misconstrued and reappropriated by someone else. That's not something that's ever happened in the universe. You fucking nitwits.
The little girl was on Shazam.
Yeah. Oh, that might be it.
Yep.
Oh, she was a little sister.
Yep, and Shazam.
Oh.
It's like, where do I just saw her in something. That's that. Not to change the tone of what you guys were just yelling at. But.
And now that we're in things that are misconstrued, who did justice? Okay, the William Reeves character.
Yeah.
It got to that episode was very good. I mean,
that was heavy.
It was a very heavy
episode.
However, when does it stop being revenge? And when does he stop being a vigilante, a good person, and just becomes a sick person? Because he got obsessed.
Tacking on vigilante as being good.
Yes, I'm talking. Okay, so let's say that vigilantes are good and fighting because he started as somebody that wanted to, defend his people, defend the injustice, fight.
Yeah,
so he's like, I'm going to fight injustice with injustice. But then
he got tricked into joining a group that promised him to help, and then it just turned into, well, that's not our cup of tea. So just do what we're doing. He still had to be white. He couldn't be himself.
Quis custodiet ipsos custodes, guys. This is the fucking central conceit of the show, is who watches the Watchmen. Like, the entire idea being that vigilantism is not a good thing. Like,
but that is not. I said it wrong. It's when does it stop being revenge, and when does it begin being you just are a sick person and you just want to kill everybody because it got to a point where he killed when he goes to the factory, warehouse. To the warehouse, he kills everybody. But 30 years, I don't know how many years later, he finds out that the 7th Cavalry, that Cyclops still exists, and he goes on this rant about it. Your family left you, even your gay lover leaves you. When do you realize that shit? I am wrong. This is a sickness. I need to stop it.
I don't think if it's built into your psychology, I don't think that ever stops being part of you.
Yeah, I think it goes back to the idea of like that. What's the guy, like you were saying in the Squid support group, that it's genetic trauma, right? Like it's just something that's part of you, whether you wanted it to or not, which is the entire point of like the episode 1, the setup with showing the Oklahoma riots and the massacre and all that. Like, it is, I think it's set up to, from the very beginning, be a sickness, right? Like, it's just, hey, this is something that's part of you, part of your essential character at this point, right? Like.
And, okay, so the question that, because I took notes, I don't know if you guys can see it from watching this show.
Can you guys see it, SeriLovers?
I'll screen...
Chime in, hashtag Anna's notes.
I'll screenshot and put it on Instagram. So my question was, when does it stop being revenge, and when does it when does he become the predator?
LA, why is there a drawing of the blue dildo on your notes? What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Shut up. That was a secret. No one was supposed to see it. You're an asshole.
Yep.
FYI, I do not have a drawing of
Yeah,
a blue
it should be clear.
dildo on my notes. But that is my question. Like, when does he stop being,
What's
you
that
know,
psychology when
this good person that is doing something, you know, to revenge his family, revenge the people that died in Oklahoma, and when does he start becoming the predator? The same people that he's killing, he's becoming the same thing.
Exactly. It's that what's that psychology or that saying that you become the monster you've been fighting?
Exactly.
So all of a sudden, yeah, it's
And
that
also-
psychologies start to mix.
And also, can we talk about how creepy is that he ended up marrying the little baby?
Yeah, but it wasn't a sister. She was
I
only
know, but that was...
she was only like 5 years younger, if that.
But still, that's for purpose of this show.
Okay.
Let's say that
I have
he
some.
raised her. He raised her.
I think that's so fucked. That's like it's the
He
same.
raised her as
Woody
his
Allen,
little
man.
sister.
How do you know he raised her? He was
as
5.
He raised her as his little sister for purpose sakes. Like, let's say that he raised her as his little sister. She saw him as the big brother, but then they start a relationship.
Or they went to different orphanages and then reconnected on whatever Facebook was in the 20s.
It didn't sound like they went to different orphanages.
Come on down, check out this book of face.
Yeah.
They went to the same
grew
church.
up,
They went to
just
church
happened
club.
yeah, see?
Church club.
For like a linger longer.
Oh my god.
I don't know,
But
man.
it-
Like, I think that that's such a small detail in terms of, like, yeah, it's kind of fucked, but, like, listen, man, we live in a world where Woody Allen is married to, like, his 8-year-old adoptive daughter. Like,
Yeah,
it's-
true that.
Like,
Oh god.
it's fucked, but not unbelievable.
Yeah. Where I could choose
Is
who
he
I
really?
want to,
I
what
had
gender
no
I want to
idea of this.
identify with today.
Is he really married to his adopted daughter?
Dude, I'm just this is not the venue for this. Just
God.
Google Woody Allen on your own time, man.
Yeah.
Oh my lord. Oh my lord. I just know he's crazy, so I'm like, whatever. But
But
you
she's
know, there's
adopted.
something that I love of this show is that every single character has such a deep history, deep background, you know? Like, they're not just whatever characters. Even PD, that I didn't even think of it. Apparently he has his own freaking files. And apparently there's another side to his
Yeah.
There
character.
is a huge apple doesn't fall far from the tree in this with Angela and her grandfather and Don Johnson, what was his character, and his father, the
And
Voights.
True and Vite, yeah.
Vites.
Yeah, there.
It's a lot of...
Well, and I think so much of the through line of the show too is like escaping the legacy of your family, you know, or escaping the legacy of the events that happened before you. So, like, the entirety of Hooded Justice's character is the damage that was done to him during the race riots. The entirety of Angela's character is the loss of her parents as a child. The entirety
And the White Knight.
Yeah, and the White Knight.
Can we talk about the White Knight? We haven't spoken about the White Knight.
Yeah, like, that's it. It's a show that really posits, like, can you escape the person that you're born to be, right? Like,
Yeah. Can you escape your
your fate.
family? Can you escape your roots? Your roots.
Yeah. Like, how much of a person is programmed at birth, and how much of a person is formed? Which I guess, like,
Nurture versus nature.
yeah, nurture versus nature, exactly. Like, really, a lot of media is that, but I think they do a good job of kind of exploring that in the show.
Again, this show is so deep and so good.
It's very thick.
It's
It is
yeah,
very
no,
thick.
like everything. If there, one line doesn't, it's not straight. It has many ramifications out of it. Like, you can get so many different theories out of one thing in this show.
It's funny, like, I've already watched the series twice, and now talking with you guys, I want to go back and rewatch it again and kind of pick up on all these other little subtleties that I missed the first 2 times around.
Well,
I agree.
I think one of the things that the show does phenomenally well too is, even though like it's new intellectual property and that it's not just retelling the original story of the Watchmen. So, you know, it's not like the Watchmen movie that can literally look at the source material and frame the camera the exact same way, and like it's because the that's one of the things that I thought was really cool about the Zack Snyder one is it's basically a shot for shot remake of the comic book, or at least of the
back then. That's what we expected out of comic book movies, is to have that, because every fanboy would have been pissed if they didn't do that.
Yeah, and I mean,
just made up their own story.
People were with even the change to the squid was like a huge fucking deal that everybody lost their shit about. But I think that this one does a really good way of calling back and referencing the show. So like one of the things that they keep doing is the images of watches everywhere. I don't know if you noticed that, but like literally there are watches everywhere in this show. Like everywhere in the show there are images of watches, not actually like physical watches, but it'll be like 3 lines that are made from light reflecting off things, and it looks like a clock counting down to midnight, and it's like everywhere. If you look up, just Google like Watchmen watches or Watchmen TV show watches or something like that, it shows you all the images. There's so many smiley faces, like down to when they're making the batter for the pancakes, like the eggs when Angela goes to their school, like the eggs drop in the form of a smiley face. There's so many like little nods. The Top Knot gang.
Like even the watch material is used to capture like the big finale.
Yeah. Well, and also right before anybody dies, there's always a second, a second sound. Like the sound design on the show is even referential to the source material. Like I thought that was so perfect. Like when Judd dies, right before you can hear like. Like anytime that anybody was gonna die, like I caught onto this on the second viewing, and I was like, oh shit, that is right. Every time that anybody dies in the show, there's that any main character dies, like, you know, if some rando Rorschach 7th Cavalry dude dies, they don't put the clock in there. But anytime that I would see it and hear the seconds start ticking down, it's just so unsettling.
Someone's dying.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, guys, we're rounding the hour here. Any last thoughts? Any big conclusions? What do you guys...
I have a random comment before.
Okay.
And by the way, I have news as well.
Yeah, for the news. It's time for the news.
Looking Glass watching gay porn.
That...
We did not touch that.
At all.
Yeah.
And why?
Is he bisexual? Because he was married.
Yeah, 4 times. It seemed like, or a couple times.
But he was watching gay porn?
Porn, yeah.
And eating, because that's what you do?
Yeah, when you watch gay porn, instead of masturbating, I guess, you eat snacks.
It's just, guys, this is actually, it's not a Looking Glass thing, it's just the universe. It's the same way that they have electric cars, it's just everybody watches gay porn all the time.
Yeah. I'm going to go with that.
What are you saying, Felo?
They don't have regular porn, it's just superhero gay porn?
Yeah.
Or vigilante gay porn?
Well, the thing is so it's I mean, it's gay porn in the same way that, like, because it's American Hero story that he's watching, right?
No, I think it's is it?
I think it is American Hero story that he's watching, which is the show within the show that's like about the heroes, about Captain Metropolis and Hooded Justice. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I love how everybody thought Hooded Justice was white, even to the day.
Yeah.
To present.
Yeah, which is
I love that whole thing that you have to make yourself white so people accept you.
Mm-hmm.
That was shit. That is so messed up. But if you look at it, till this day, people think that. So messed up.
Heavy show. SeriLovers, if you have not watched this show, please watch it twice.
Yeah, at the very least, watch it twice. Once for wow factor, once for comprehension. And read Peteypedia. Go on to Peteypedia. It's really not that
I am
hard.
actually gonna go. Fella's Corner this week was
Peteypedia. Man, exactly. There's only like 9 entries. I think it's an entry per episode, basically.
So 9.
And it really is awesome because it fills in the world outside of that. because there's like posters for from the Greenwood Center. There's a bunch of stuff. There's ads for nostalgia. Like there's a ton.
It's
of
cool
stuff.
that they even just developed a whole secondary
Yeah.
bit of backstory for us to play with.
Yeah. Because again, I think legitimately HBO was hoping this would be a multi-series. I think they were hoping to turn this into
Game of Thrones, the new Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
Every show's a new
Every
game.
exactly.
show
I mean, they
is
said
a
the
new
same thing
Game
about
of
Thrones.
Westworld, which is I still like Westworld, but like there's
I actually thought this story felt very Westworldy. Not comparing, but like how everything unfolds, and you're like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of
More the wow factor.
There's a lot of really cool moments, right? It jumps from moment to moment, which I think is pretty neat. And I think so. One of the things that I really like about this, just wrapping up, going back to the wrapping up of things, is I think this is a really good avenue forward for DC. As a diehard DC fan, I've been a fan of the characters for forever. I'm like a gigantic Batman fan. I think this is really a better format than trying to make an interconnected universe. Not that the Marvel interconnected universe is bad. The MCU is amazing and awesome and its own thing, but it's just so much more difficult to try and make something like that as opposed to trying to tell more individual stories in a longer format, like with TV shows and that type of stuff.
As a DC fan, what were your thoughts on Crisis?
I don't watch the Arrowverse.
Good
But
for you.
did you get to watch those 5 episodes?
No, I did not.
Just those 5 episodes.
I did not know. Do I have any plans of doing it? Because I'm not a fan of the Arrowverse.
And,
You don't. It was silly.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's not that I have anything against it. It's just it's not my cup of tea because it's CW shows, man. Like CW shows have their own flavor.
I'm not the age 13 to 15.
Yeah, exactly.
so.
Exactly. Like there's not knocking
I am.
not knocking it. Like if you enjoy it, awesome. I'm not here to yuck any yums. But like, yeah, man, it's just not my jam, not my speed.
like, not gonna lie, the plot was kind of dumb, but it was
watch it.
It was mostly fan service. That's what I think of Crisis. It was fan service by all the people they brought to
That
those 5
was
episodes.
like the only benefactor of that was how many characters they brought back, how many references they did, how many Easter eggs they threw in.
Yeah.
That's about it. Story
As a
was
DC
really
fan,
stupid.
I encourage you to just watch those 5 episodes because of that, because of the fan service.
I'm just gonna read Crisis on Infinite Earths, the trade paperback that I have instead. How about that?
And Felo, I do agree with you that I think DC should take this route of taking smaller stories and not making this huge universe to try to compete with MCU.
Yeah.
Because
I
I,
mean,
think
they-
MCU's got it.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
Look, they've done it. They did it with Watchmen, and they did it with Joker.
Yeah.
Look
just
how
to take these small pieces
stories,
Yeah.
origin stories,
Yeah,
have gone
instead of
really
trying to
good
weave
from it.
everything together.
Well, and
they have more success with the one-off stories.
I'm excited to see, but not hopeful about Birds of Prey because
Yeah.
it looks like garbage. It looks bad.
I don't care. It's
that the,
Margot Robbie,
The Margot Robbie.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, it's Harley Quinn, and
But I am actually surprised they even tried again with that
they're
Suicide Squad.
they're fucking bringing in Black Mask, which is going to be the first time that they're ever showing Black Mask in a feature-length film, and that bums me out because Roman Sionis is like such a fucking awesome character. But yeah, there's too much there, guys.
But well, back to Watchmen. So, SeriLovers, I have some reviews and comments on things that I've read. So I'm gonna read a couple, and you guys, please feel free to comment. The first off is showrunner Lindelof stated that he had completed his intended story in this first season and left his role as a showrunner, leaving HBO unlikely to pursue a second season.
I respect that so fucking much because, again, you don't want to end up in a Game of Thrones territory where the showrunners are sick of their own show and just want out. They just want resolution. I'm 120% okay with this.
Yeah, but they can still bank on the property for a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's true, but I think Lindelof's left it open in the sense where he's like, well, I've told the story that I want to. I'm not saying that if,
I
years
feel like
down
it
the
needs
road-
2 more seasons and that's it.
Exactly.
He did say, and that's coming in another on another of the things. He did say that, hey, if in a couple of years I get another idea, the door is still open.
Yeah, but it's already been a couple of years and the show's already passed. Like, if
don't
someone
think so.
already had it picked up in production right now to keep, like, the strike while the iron's hot kind of thing.
Yeah, but at the same time, I think anticipation and being away from a property kind of draws value to it too, right? Like, it's like every time that there's a new Superman movie, even though you know it's likely not going to be great. Statistically speaking, it's not going to be great. People get excited, man. Like, I grew up with Superman, and every time that a new Superman project is announced, I'm like, fuck yeah. Oh, and Henry Cavill isn't going to be him? Cool. Can we get an American to play him, please?
So you guys were
Oh
around
my
when
god,
the
stop it.
Christopher
You're
Reeve
acting just
Superman?
like my dad. Henry Cavill is the most gorgeous man in the world, and he can do no wrong.
Great as The
But
Witcher,
anywho,
by the way. I wish I had
let
been
me-
part of that episode.
Let me keep going. So, Bold and Brittlin Watchmen isn't always easy viewing, but by adding new layers of cultural context and a host of complex characters, it expertly builds on its source material to create an impressive identity of its own. That was said by one of the producers.
Agreed.
Rotten Tomatoes audience score is markedly lower than the critics' consensus, with several news outlets reporting that the site was review bombed.
Yeah.
But and again, and this is going back to our episode on The Witcher, critics are always ugh.
Yeah. We don't follow the critics here at Seriology.
Yes, please. So, and talking about the fans being angry about Rorschach's character, in response to that, Damon Lindelof stated that the show is not intended to portray Walter Kovacs, the original Rorschach, as a racist. At the New York Comic Con, he explained that Rorschach's journal had been misinterpreted by the new frontiersmen, and that his image has been misappropriated by the 7th Cavalry. He's
They
been
might
dead.
have should have just touched a little bit on that.
Yeah. He's been dead for over 30 years, Lindelof clarified. He doesn't get to say, "You misunderstood me. No, I was not a white supremacist."
I feel like that should have been like the what's her name, Lady True, saying that just to make fun of the cavalry, just to clear that up.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Rorschach's been dead. They kind of misinterpreted it. That's why their group is a joke.
Well, and I
kinda
think
thing.
that's one of the things that I both loved and hated about the show is the 7th Cavalry comes off as being super menacing and also super fucking inept, just like very dumb. Like, especially at the very end, like, okay, I get the Senator plays very menacing, and then, which I think is great because it really shows the ideology for what it is. It's just a bunch of fucking old hicks that are dumb and
like he blew his everything when he was like, "Yahoo!
Yeah, like,
let's get blue." Like,
I loved it
can
because
we
they just
talk-
looked so dumb.
No, and even when Laurie goes to the house of Don Johnson's wife, and she's like, "Oh, this shit is not working." You bitch! You see that she's trying to do something to you. Get up and do something. No, she stayed in the chair waiting.
I don't think I would
see
have
what
known
happened.
what was going on either.
I'm sorry, guys. Just to interject with the Rotten Tomatoes thing, I went to the Rotten Tomatoes to check it out, and it's definitely review bombed because all of the reviews are either complete 5 stars or half stars, which is the lowest one you can give. There's literally one that's 1.5 stars. Everything else that I'm seeing here is 5 or half.
Okay.
Sorry.
What does that?
No,
Yeah,
it definitely got review bombed. I didn't know
Yeah.
there was a lot of controversy surrounding the show. I just thought it was accepted that it was a good show.
Well, but regarding the audience and viewership, according to HBO, the first episode of Watchmen had more than 1.5 million viewers on its first night across television and streaming services, the strongest debut performance for the network. The first broadcast of the episode at 9 p.m. had 800,000 viewers, making it the most viewed debut episode for any premium cable show in 2019. Even Game of Thrones?
Well, for
2019.
2019, yeah.
2019, yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
No, I would like people who were chiming into the last half season of Game of Thrones were either already hardcore Game of Thrones fans, but no one was like, "Oh, this is must-see appointment television" by this point.
Really?
No,
Disagree.
sorry, not
I
to-
think everybody in America sat down for that last season every Sunday.
Well, I have some thoughts on that. But what I'm saying is debut is the key word in here.
Yeah.
Like as
True,
first time
yeah.
appearance.
The first time of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
Okay, no,
Like,
now I get it.
It
But
definitely did
regarding
not
news,
out debut Game of Thrones back in like 2009 or whenever the hell 2008. When the fuck was it? 2011? I don't know. Whenever
Moving
Game
along.
of Thrones came out.
Moving along.
But, coming back to what Lindelof said on my news and updates, Deadline came out and said that even though HBO will love a second season of Watchmen, creator Damon Lindelof told us tonight that while he's not currently cooking a continuation up, he's completely open to the possibility of someone else taking a crack at Alan Moore and Dave Gibbons' DC comic. He said that I never wanted to close the door completely because if 2 or 3 years from now I say I just had another idea, it will be then much harder to open. But I will say it's barely ajar. I think that there are no current plans to make any more Watchmen. If the idea comes, I will be enthusiastic about it. The idea may not come from me. I will be super excited about it coming from someone else, so my position hasn't changed. He said that when they won an award at the WGA Awards.
The Writers Guild. Yeah, I think that's... So, perfect analog for this is True Detective, right? True Detective had the first season, immediately followed up with the second season, took like a 3-year hiatus, and then followed up with the third season because they found a story they wanted to tell. I think that could be something that they do with Watchmen is maybe 3-4 years down the road, they want to do Watchmen, but this time it's in Seattle or something, like whatever, like some other aspect.
I honestly feel like there's show writers right now already built a whole second season for them to play with.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't be opposed to them exploring other different characters and other like they've built a very strong foundational world with it, which is the first time that you're seeing the Alan Moore actual world, like post Squid Attack world. So I think that they've really left themselves a lot of options to come back to this.
I think there's going to be a second season.
I don't think that it's going to be immediate, but I think
I don't think
two,
it's gonna
3
be
years
immediate.
we'll get a second season.
It's going to be similar to Big Little Lies, that it took a little longer for them to come up with a second season. I think that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But
all right, everybody.
We've come to an end. Thank you, Felo, for joining us. We missed you.
Always happy to. If you guys ever do, I just brought it up.
You say BoJack, whatever his name is, I'm cutting you off right now.
Gonna be True Detective.
This is your last episode.
I literally was going to say, True. If you guys ever decide to do a True Detective one, I'm in for it.
I actually wouldn't mind that. I loved all three of them.
I'm going to have to watch them. I'll watch
the
them.
The first season is the best.
I like it,
the most disturbing.
It goes 1, 3, 2 for me, but yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if you've watching The Outsider. It kind of reminds me a lot of that first season.
You know which one I started watching? And Rich, I think you'd like it if you haven't started already. It's Avenue 5.
Oh, not yet. It's on my list.
What?
On my list. I got to finish The Outsider. Yep.
I'm dying to watch.
I got to finish The Outsider, and that's next.
It's so good, but at the same time, so messed up. It's hilarious.
It reminds me of Fifth Element-ish.
The production design looks very Fifth Element-y. The writing team is a bunch of fucking aces, just crack, like very good writers. And Josh Gad's in it, which I'll watch almost anything that Josh Gad is in.
Honestly, I watch it because Josh Gad was in it, and I'm like obsessed. I'm like, he is the best in it, but also the guy that plays the house.
Yeah,
he nails it as well.
Guys, we'll reel it back in.
Yeah, sorry.
It's time to say goodnight to the audience.
Good night, audience. Oh, and one last thing. Final episodes of BoJack Horseman premiered 2 days ago. Go watch it. It's the best show.
You're being cut up now.
SeriLovers, thanks again for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on our social media. Cue Anna, real quick.
At Twitter, you can find us on Twitter at Seriology TV and Instagram at Seriology TV_podcast. Remember to find us on any of your podcast libraries. We are now on iHeartRadio as well as Blueberry.
All the things. Google us. We're on all the things.
Everywhere. And also, thank you to our French fans.
Ooh.
By the
we
way,
got you guys
Vive la France!
In France. Yeah.
Merci.
In France. I don't know how you guys are understanding us, but thank you. Merci.
And remember, tweet.
All right, good night,
show
everybody.
Us Anna's notes. # show Anna's notes.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Well, that's all for now, folks. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Seriology. Don't forget to give us a like on Twitter at Seriology TV. Send us a message about what shows you think should be on our bucket list, or if you just want to leave a comment about how awesome we are. See you next week, SeriLovers. And remember, wherever you are, you'll always be in our TV hearts.